Well, welcome to A Valid Answer with Scott and... Well, you know what? Marshall's not here today. It's going to be a slightly different show. I'm going to be talking to myself. No, I'm not going to be talking to myself. I am here by myself in our studio. I'm kind of running the show from our computer right now. It's kind of a little lonely moment here in the studio by myself. But here's what's happening. Right now, Marshall is out of town, but we knew he was going to be out of town this weekend. So what we did was a few weeks ago, we went to Five Dogs Shooting Range to shoot our segment about guns. So Marshall had very little experience with guns at all. He used to do some Civil War reenactment, so he had some experience with a musket. But that was about it. I think maybe he fired a handgun years ago, but I'm not real sure. So I took him out to the shooting range to shoot some of the guns that I own, some of the guns that I grew up with. And while we were out there, we discussed the laws surrounding the guns, proper handling of firearms, and all that kind of stuff. And he got some hands-on experience with some of the guns that we've talked about in our discussion, some of the guns that you've heard about as far as assault weapons and stuff like that, and you know, evil black guns that look scary. But he never had experience with them. So we shot that. We're going to play that right now. I am here live in the studio. So that means I can respond to your questions. So please join in on the discussion, ask any questions, make some comments. I'll be responding on Facebook here on Kerncast. And then we're going to play the video. And during that whole time, I'll be discussing things with you and typing things in. At the very end, I'll be back to maybe answer any questions that came up or anything like that. So please join the discussion and enjoy us at the gun range. Hey, this is Scott and Marshall with A Valid Answer. You're wondering where we're at? We're at a shooting range. We're at Five Dogs Shooting Range, and I've taken Marshall here to come shooting, not for the first time, but basically for the first time. You can hear all the shots going on around us right now. It's an open range, and we're gonna have some fun with some rifles and some stuff that maybe, Marshall, you've never shot before, but this is stuff that I kind of grew up with. So we've got to watch our step with all our cables around here. But let me pull out what we'll be dealing with here. Is,
oh my gosh.
It's a scary black gun called an AR-15. Now, we're going to go over the basic rules of firearm safety.
Okay.
The first one is you never...
Don't have a firearm?
Just
keep saying. It's kind of hard to have a firearm accident if you don't have one, right? But anyway.
All right. Keep your finger off the trigger.
Okay.
Until you're ready to shoot.
Right.
All right. Never point the muzzle at anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. All right. Know what your target is and what's beyond the target. Mm-hmm. Okay. Those are the three basic rules. Again, wherever the muzzle is pointing, this is the muzzle, the dangerous end of the gun. Never point it at anything.
It's the sharp end.
That's the sharp end of the stick, exactly. You're always keeping your finger off the trigger until it's time to fire. Now it looks kind of weird because I am holding it left-handed just so the camera can see us and stuff like that. And again, oh yeah, always assume. That was the fourth one. What was the fourth one?
Always assume it's loaded.
Always assume it's loaded. So that's actually the first one. Always assume a gun is loaded. Second, keep your finger off the trigger until you're on target and ready to shoot. Always keep the muzzle pointed in a direction that's something that you're basically never point at anything you're not willing to kill or destroy. And then know what your target is and what's beyond your target because the bullet's going to go through. Now here at a range, basically don't swing the rifle around this direction, but pretty much the whole mountainside is designed to be a place where you can point the gun at and shoot. So as long as the muzzle's pointed that direction, we should be just fine.
How do you safe the weapon? You fired the weapon, you're done shooting. What do you do when you're done shooting? When you're done shooting, you take the magazine out, and it'll be bumped open. You'll take the magazine out, which is a little difficult to do. What does bumped open mean? Well, sorry, when typically a gun, when it's empty, when it fires the last round, the bolt will stay open to tell you, hey, there's no more bullets in there. Okay, that's this little flap here, right? Yeah, that little flap there will be open. The problem is, normally what it does is it stays open. You take the mag out, put a new mag in, close it, and then it's ready to shoot again. But this gun is California legal. Okay. What that means, water. Is that if I were to put in, this is an empty mag right now. This is an empty magazine. There's no bullets in it. If I were to put the magazine in, I cannot pull it out. The button does not allow me to pull the mag out. California requires, for this to be considered an assault weapon, it has to have a removable magazine. This is not a removable magazine. The way I remove the magazine is I literally have to open up the gun.
So now the gun is no longer functional. Then I can push this lever and remove the magazine.
Oh, wow.
That's what makes this gun California legal, because it's no longer considered an assault rifle, no longer considered an assault weapon by the laws of California, because I cannot remove the mag without completely breaking the gun down to where it is non-firing. So now the gun is non-firing. Now I can remove the mag.
Okay, well that kind of slows you down, right? So if a person's
very much
doing something they shouldn't be doing, that slows them down.
That slows them down, but the person who's not doing what they're going to be doing isn't going to have that on there.
Ah, good point. Well,
yeah. All it does is slow down the law abiding.
I don't know. I mean, if you're a kid and you haven't thought of that, but I don't know. Yeah. Maybe.
So again, this looks like a long magazine. It's been permanently modified to only hold 10 rounds, because in California you cannot have more than 10 rounds in a no matter if the firearm is an assault weapon or not. No gun can have more than 10 rounds. So this has been modified to only 10 rounds can fit into it, but it still looks like a 30 round.
Do you think that's a particularly bad rule?
Again, if you're trying to defend yourself, yes. Because now me, the law-abiding citizen, you've limited me. I have to become a criminal to defend myself against criminals.
But if you can't hit what you're shooting at with 10 rounds, are you going to hit it with 30?
What if there's more than one person? What if how many attackers are you going to allow me to defend myself against?
Well, theoretically, all of them, of course, but but you know. No, I get it. It is a limitation.
Yeah, and a bullet doesn't necessarily stop a person. A person, typically, you train to hit at least twice, then you assess, and if you need to fire more, you hit again.
Oh, wow.
But I just read an article about a Navy SEAL who was shot 27 times and still walked to his helicopter.
I saw that. He did. Yeah, he was awarded the Medal of Honor, wasn't he? Or yeah.
So just because you're shot doesn't mean you're dead. Just because you're shot doesn't mean you're going to stop advancing on the person. So the only reason I would shoot a person is because my life was in danger.
But if someone gets hit with one of these, they're probably stopping, aren't they?
It just depends. This bullet is actually designed to go through the person. It's in fact, you can see this right here. This is a .223 round. This is a rifle round. It's one of the smaller rifle rounds that they make. There are some that are slightly smaller than this, but it was specifically designed to wound, not to kill. Before in the military, they were shooting 30-06, they were shooting 308, big rifle rounds. The M14, which was a standard issue firearm for the Marines until Vietnam, it was at the beginning of Vietnam until they switched to the M16 or AR-15, was shooting 308s, and that was a massive round. They discovered that if you hit a person and kill them, one person is off the field. If you use a smaller round, you hit them, you wound them. Now 2 of their buddies have to carry them off. You've removed 3 people from the field of battle. So they decided to start using smaller rounds that don't necessarily kill. They mostly drill through. Now it's going to leave a much bigger cavity than say a handgun round or anything like that. But it was actually specifically designed this small to be a wounding round to make the enemy have to carry their wounded buddies off the field. So.
All right.
So I'm going to set this down over here. The other thing we're going to look at shoots the same rounds.
This one looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah. This one is actually it once was owned by a BPD sniper. He sold it to my dad years and years ago, and my dad gave it to me years and years ago. It's a bolt action, single, 1 bullet at a time. You got to load them in through the top. And he basically sold this one because he was going to a bigger cartridge. As a sniper, he wanted a bigger cartridge. So, but this is still considered a feasible sniper weapon. It's specifically the barrel is really thick. You can see on here how thick the barrel is compared to the size of the hole. That just gives it just a more solid feel and keeps the cap coming off. The weight of the gun heavy, which causes less recoil. You actually want your gun as heavy as possible. I mean, not too heavy because you can't carry it, but you want it heavy enough so that it's not going to recoil as much. And then the thicker the barrel, the less warp there's going to be in when you're shooting and stuff like that. So this is considered most hunting rifles won't have that thick of a barrel. So we'll be shooting with this one. We'll be shooting way up on that mountain up there, trying to hit metal plates and make them plink. Are you ready to fire an assault weapon, a California assault weapon? Although technically it's not actually an assault weapon because it has that limitation on it.
At a distant target, maybe.
At a distant target. All right. So
we'll give it a shot, literally.
So what I want you to experience, I want you to experience the recoil, because here's the thing. Why is this gun this gun? All right. This is the most popular rifle in America.
Okay.
This would be what you would consider the Honda Civic of rifles. It is the most common. It is the most customizable. That's why people like it. You can turn this into whatever you want. You can buy the exact grip you want that fits your hand. You can buy different length barrels. You can buy different types of sights that mount on it. You can buy different kinds of stocks that have cheek rests and short, long, and it's so customizable. There are literally hundreds of companies in America that make parts for this rifle, and it's all interchangeable. I buy a pistol grip for an AR-15 made by anybody, and it'll fit on any AR-15. It's completely modular and customizable, and it's you look at a Honda Civic and you like people, they turn them into rice rockets, they do whatever they have, you can buy body kits, you can trick it out, you can buy one that's all pink and give it to your daughter. It's just whatever you want to do, this gun allows you to modularly make it whatever you want. So
you could make this rifle something that you use only for sport or something that you use only for hunting, but you could also upgrade it or whatever you want to call it so that it's particularly lethal to other people.
This one here, you can set it up with really long barrels. You can set it with what this was called is a bull barrel, where it's a thicker. You can see that this is not as thick. This wouldn't be considered a bull barrel, but you can buy bull barrels for these guns that are much longer. You can buy scopes to put on, and you can get a gun like this to shoot just about as accurate as any hunting rifle. And so you can take it out there and then you come home, you're like, oh, I want to go shoot on a short range. You literally just pop the upper off and have a different upper with a shorter barrel, and you take the scope off and you put what this is called a reflex sight. What this is a red or green dot sight, which allows you to just boom, keep both eyes open and see the sight. And see the sight picture in there, and change out your stock from your hunting stock that has the cheek pad to a tactical stock that goes shorter and allows you to go defend your home room to room if you need to and stuff like that. All those kinds of options can be on the same gun, and literally it's just bolt on. It's unpin. This gun breaks down. This gun breaks down this easy right here. So the whole gun comes apart. So I can put a different top on it that's a completely different caliber or whatever, and put it on the same gun. So it's very popular in that it's a modular system that you can just customize however you want. And that's why this gun is so popular. It's not just why do you need to have that? Why do you need to have that gun that kills so well? It's just the most popular gun that's the most customizable, that if you are into guns, you can turn this one platform into almost any type of gun that you want. That's why it's popular.
Well, I do want to pitch that question to you real quick, and I kind of have a sense of your answer, but I kind of want to probe a little deeper.
Yeah.
But why do you need this firearm?
Because it's so modular and you can make it into whatever you need. I can turn this into, like I said, I can turn this into a 9mm gun that's short that I can use to defend my home and not worry that the bullets are going to go through the house into the next house. And this can be this is what the police use. This is what the SWAT team uses to go room to room and clear houses. It's the most efficient gun to do that. So if I needed to defend my home, I could with this weapon. I could have a flashlight on it. I could have a laser light on it. I could have a reflex sight on it, so that helps me to find my target easier.
That's a valid answer.
Yeah, this is just the most common customizable firearm on the market that you can turn into whatever you need.
Because under the Constitution, you technically don't even have to answer that question.
Right.
You literally don't.
Because that's the point. That's the point that we try to make as people who are gun enthusiasts. It's like, why do you need it? That's not a requirement. But there is a valid answer.
Right.
I'm going to put 5 rounds in here, and I want you to give this a try.
Okay.
All right, so there are 5 rounds in the magazine. Come on over here. What you're going to do is you're going to hold this weapon. This is usually a comfortable place to hold it. It's fairly balanced. You're going to take the magazine, bullets facing forward. You're going to slap it in. Then you're going to turn the round around this way. You're going to grab this. You're going to pull it all the way back and let go. Don't bring it back with your hand. You're going to pull it all the way back and let go, and it'll be charged and ready to go. The safety will not fire. this is fire. The trigger will squeeze. You hear a click. All right. So we're going to have you do that. I'll hand you the mag. So go ahead and grab the weapon.
Should the weapon be on safety?
No, it's fine because you probably want to load it while standing up. So finger off the trigger. There. Here's the magazine. Bullets forward. Put it in the well and give it a good slap. Okay, so try to pull it. Make sure it's good. Okay, now rotate the weapon around, keeping your finger off the trigger. Put this against your hip.
It's me.
Put your fingers here. You got to click that to release it and pull it all the way back, and let it go. It is ready to fire right now, so keep your finger off the trigger. All right, you can keep both eyes open. When you look through there, where the green dot on here is where the bullet's going.
Okay.
So get your hand all the way up.
Okay. Mic.
So the best way to hold the gun, I'll take care of your mic in just a second.
Yeah.
The best way to hold the gun is keep your finger straight and get your hand all the way up there and keep your finger like that, because you got a better grip on the gun when it's all the way up in there, and then keep the finger straight. Let me take care of your microphone real quick. Just think about the gun. Don't worry about the microphone. I'm going to put it on your back pocket real quick, okay?
Okay.
That way it's going to sit a little easier. Cool. You can sit down.
And this part here.
Oh, hey, your microphone. Hold on just a second. Okay, cool. You can have a seat, finger off the trigger. You can keep both eyes open. Wherever the green dot is where the bullet's going to go.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, you may fire. Keep it tucked into your shoulder. Remember, keep finger off the trigger while you're making those adjustments. Then once you're ready to shoot, bring the finger down and then you can shoot.
Jesus. That was violent.
What's that? What was that?
That was violent.
That was violent, okay.
I see where I hit. I hit 6 o'clock low of the center mass.
Okay, cool.
I don't know where I hit that time.
Keep it nice and tucked into you.
Quite loud. My ears are ringing.
What's that?
My ears are ringing.
Hold for just a second. This might be better for you. I'm going to remove your hat and put these earplugs on you.
Okay. I believe I have 1 round remaining. Okay.
Ready to go.
All right.
All right. Now we don't know if it's empty because it did, take a look, turn it sideways. It did not lock back. So sometimes the gun, if it's not adjusted properly, won't catch on the last one. So aim down, assume that there's another round in there, and pull the trigger. Okay, so it is empty. So you're gonna hand me the weapon. I'm gonna break it open. Eject the mag. Come on. Oh, that's why. Okay. It has sufficiently slowed me down so I can't reload fast.
All right. How did I do?
You did great. You did great. You were hitting. I mean, there isn't anything that's egregiously out. I mean, you hit the shoulder over here, and
I hit the bullseye. I think. I hit the
yeah, you got
X.
few low, but I think you hit dead center on the bullseye on one of them. Oh, sorry.
Nice.
All right.
Feels a little jarring.
It is a little bit. There is what's called a buffer in there and a spring. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to step on the cables that way we're not tripping over each other. There is inside of here what's called a buffer and a buffer spring. That bolt travels back in there inside the stock and then loads the next one. So that spring is taking quite a bit of the recoil away from you. That's why the gun doesn't jolt and take you off target. And if you hold it, you can stay on target pretty well. That's cool. So proper stance for shooting while standing up. I'm going to go to the other side over here. So we're shooting mostly straight on with that target. Proper stance. You want to be feet not really wide apart, but you don't want to be standing like this. Feet about 45. Gun is up. You want to be slightly leaning forward. People have a tendency because they're afraid of the recoil, they want to get away from the gun. So they go like this because they want to get away, which in reality, whether you're here or you're here, you're the same distance from the gun. Except that if you're like this, it's going to knock you back. If you're forward, it's just going to go into your shoulder and you'll be fine. So you want to be slightly feet apart, legs not locked, fairly kind of an athletic position basically. You want to be up, and you want to bring it up to here, and this camera is getting a shot of my butt right now, isn't it?
The recoil for me isn't quite the problem. It's just, I guess, the whole overall experience is a little jarring. Maybe the sound is quite
What
loud.
you're getting, because this does not have a flash hider, because flash hiders are illegal in California, but it's also called a flash suppressor, and it gets the gases and it shoots it a certain direction, shoots it out to the side. It can actually direct, it can be used to direct the firearm. So when you're shooting, the blast coming out can, typically the gun wants to go up and away, so you can angle the blast to shoot up and away so that when the gun wants to go this way, the blast from the gun is actually shooting it back down, so it's countering the recoil. But since this doesn't have that, you're feeling the whole back pressure of the bullet explosion coming out. So you're sitting here, when you go boom, you're feeling the air pressure come back and hitting you in the face. So that is part of the effect of it that you may not have been aware of. Because the projectile is coming out. You may not even get that with black powder reenactment guns because there's no actual projectile being forced out.
Yeah,
so the projectile going out, every action is equal and opposite reaction. You're getting some of the back coming off of that. So I'm going to try standing up. In the middle of that white plate.
Okay. Now, after I fire around,
What's that?
after I fire around, how do I?
Lift it up, pull it back fairly quickly. That way it ejects it out, and then you're going to drive forward and back down. So the
And that
motion
reloads
is
it.
Boom, boom, it's ready to go. Boom, boom, eject. Boom, boom, it's ready to go.
Okay.
All right, so try loading it in. It is loaded, ready to go. Keep your finger off the trigger. Get your other hand up underneath here. Because you got a bipod to hold it. Get your thumb on the other side. Just like that. So press your shoulder all the way up against it. Make sure you get close enough so you're not getting tunnel vision. Put the sight directly on it. It might be tough finding it. Open both eyes and you might be able to find it. And then close one eye once you get it centered.
I've got it. It just seems it's a little high for me. There we go. Yeah, instinctively I want to do this.
What's that?
Instinctively I want to hold it like this.
Yeah, but let the bipod do its thing.
How much recoil is in this?
You're going to feel the full recoil, but because it's a fairly heavy gun, you're just going to feel it in the, you're just going to feel it in the shoulder.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that. No.
There we are. Yeah, I can see how these things are customized.
Take a breath and pull the trigger when you're ready. Press it. You may have hit it.
I think I did.
On the screen, on the camera, I can see the travel of the bullet. It's amazing.
That's really cool. Okay.
So up, back, forward, down. Hit it.
All right. All right, this is a lot of fun. I believe I have 1 round left.
Trigger's very nice, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's a nice firearm.
Yep. Nailing it. Leave it open.
Well, it's a lot of fun. It's not too hard. I think anybody with a little bit of training can do it just like I just did. You really have to get everything just right, and it seems like it's very individual because everybody's built a little different, so I can see why it's important to be able to customize a firearm because everybody's going to be a little bit different. You know, a millimeter this way or a millimeter that way is going to make a huge difference. Just the comfort is important because if you're comfortable, you can take more time to aim and so on. This isn't as jarring as the AR-15 was.
Okay.
It was more comfortable shooting it. I enjoyed having the benefit of the bipod. Took a little getting used to, but obviously I think I got used to it pretty darn good.
You did pretty good. You hit 3 out of 5.
Well, there you go. Well, I want 5 out of 5, right?
That's typically what you want, yeah. 1 for 1 is what you want. You want to try some pistols?
Sure,
Let's go to
absolutely.
the pistol range and try some
I
pistols.
want to do this all day.
All right, so we're out here at the pistol range now. All right, so what we have over here on the right, so Walther shoots a 32, fairly small bullet. Looks like James Bond's gun, basically Walther PP. His would be a PPK, which means it's shorter, but a PPK is actually illegal in California. You can't have it. This is the famous Glock that you've heard so much about. This is actually a Gen 1 Glock. It's fairly old. It's from the 80s, one of the very first ones. This is a 1911. It's called that. It shoots a 45 caliber. It's called a 1911 because the patent for it was created in 1911 by Colt. This gun, when you follow the record of the serial number, discover that this gun was actually made in 1912. So this gun is 106 years old, and we're going to try shooting it today. This is the 32. Goes in the Walther. This is the 40 cal. Goes in the Glock and my Smith & Wesson. This is a 45, and it goes in the 1911. You can see the 3 pistol rounds that we're going to be shooting today. You can see the difference between a 32 and a 45. Now with the semi-automatic, it's going to stop. It's going to stop open. You're going to eject the round, and this one you're going to pull back and let go. Fire 1 empty, make sure it's clear. All right?
All right.
Yeah, let me just say, if you want to learn how to fire firearms, you don't learn by watching movies.
Don't watch the movies.
No. Go ahead and take the gun in your right hand.
Sideways. Huh?
Yeah. Here's the magazine, bullets forward.
Okay.
Put it in. Give it a good slap. Watch your finger, because when you slap it, it can pinch your finger. There you go. Now you are gonna turn it sideways right now. Grab it. You're gonna pull all the way back and let it go. Yep. It is ready to fire. So let me get around here. So stance, not straight on. Turn your body. Hold on. There you go. You want to turn your body. Step forward a little bit. There you go. You want to turn your body. Do not do this. Remember, thumb over thumb. Thumb over thumb, because this slide is going to slide back, and you don't want it to hit your thumb.
Okay. Am I now holding it correctly?
You are. You can bring down and fire when ready.
Mass of the target.
Aiming for the head.
It's got a bit of a kick. Okay, I'll aim for the head.
You're doing pretty good. Now it is locked back.
Okay.
Take a look at it, turn it sideways. You can see that it's locked back. There you go. So you're empty.
Okay.
All right. Let's try something with a little more kick.
Okay.
This is a fairly modern weapon. This weapon was used in World War II.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So it was used by the Germans in World War II. The officers carried the Walther PP series. Police used it because the PP actually stands for police or something like that. But one of the P's in there, yeah, police pistol or something like that. So this is a modern day, developed in the 80s. This one was actually purchased either 89 or 90, late 80s, 90s, right after the gun came out. It was the very first polymer gun, meaning the bottom lower of the receiver was made out of plastic, where the actual firing is happening is still made out of metal. So I've got 10, you can see I've got 10 rounds. This is a 10-round mag. This is legal in California. By design, they normally double stack them. So a magazine this size fitting into a gun this big, clearly not protruding down, this magazine would normally hold 15 rounds, but a 15-round version of this magazine is illegal in California. This is what I would consider a low-capacity magazine. A 15-round that fits into the gun as the standard size, I would consider a standard capacity magazine. I would consider a high-capacity magazine a magazine that protrudes from the gun. They do make those. They're like 30-round, 40-round magazines that stick way out on the bottom. That would be high capacity. But if it fits into the frame of the gun, I would consider that a standard capacity.
Now, this is a handgun is for personal defense, isn't it?
Handgun is for personal defense in the way that you can carry it with you. So if you had it as a sidearm, you had it as a concealed, it's something, it's very, like the rifle that we shot, the AR-15, would be a personal defense weapon. You could personally defend yourself in your home, you can personally defend yourself out in the open, but it'd be very difficult for you to carry it with you.
If you had a choice, though, inside your home, if there were a bad guy in your home.
Shotgun.
Shotgun.
Yep. Shotgun gives you a better spray pattern. It's not a single bullet, but you're getting more of an expanded cone of, so instead of, if I were to aim for this knot with a bullet, I might hit the knot. With the shotgun, I'd hit that much. The BBs it's very unlikely for shotgun pellets to go through a wall. They'll get stuck in a wall. They might go through maybe one room, but they're not going to exit your house. A 40 or a 9mm could possibly exit your house. A 223 will likely exit your house. So you really wouldn't want to be defending your home with a 223. You'd want to be defending it with a pistol round so that it's less likely to be exiting your house and hitting somebody else. So this would be a very good defensive weapon. Police carry the Glock all the time in 40, sometimes in 45, sometimes 9mm, but this is a fairly common police weapon. See, we're ears in, eyes on. Same thing, I'm going to hold it here. I got 10 rounds in this one, but it's got a slightly bigger kick. Again, hand over hand, thumb over thumb. If I had my thumb right here, when this kicked back, it would hit my thumb. So you don't want to do this. You want thumb over thumb. I'm going to aim for the head of the green. Lock back, I'm empty.
I can't believe, Scott, you missed all 10 times.
I know, right? Go ahead and take the gun.
All right.
You're going to put the magazine bullets first, bullets aiming that way, slap it in. You don't have to pull it back. You can use your thumb to pull that down and it'll slide forward. It is ready to fire. So get in your position.
There's something on the trigger.
Yes, that is the safety. On the Glock, that is the safety. So it cannot accidentally be pulled. Your finger is literally pulling that little safety lever first and then pulling the trigger. So it's a thumb over thumb. Keep that thumb down. There you go. Lean forward. You're leaning back. The kick is going to... There you go. That's a good position. 5 rounds. Yeah.
I pulled it twice and nothing happened.
It's a long trigger pull on this one. It's slightly different, but it's the same trigger pull every time. So it's a long trigger pull. Steady all the way back. Sorry, I should have told you that. There you go. That's much more control. You are empty and it is locked back.
Okay.
Cool. What do you think of these two comparatively?
That one's a lot more powerful.
A lot more powerful, yes it is.
Harder to control.
Okay, so this one may not completely recoil. What it's supposed to do is that it's supposed to blow back, eject the empty shell when it comes forward, drives the next bullet into the barrel, and the hammer's back ready to shoot. If the spring is not quite right, if it's too stiff, if it's too old, it may not blow back far enough to catch the next one, or it may not blow back far enough to eject it. So it'll partially eject and then get caught, and you'll have an empty shell sitting over there. That's what's called stovepiping, because it looks like a little stovepipe on a roof. So at that point, we have to clear it manually, pull it back to eject that one, and let the next one go in. Or it may have pulled it back out. When it went in, it may not have fed correctly, and it might be empty. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong with this. I'm going to fire this a couple of times to know what to look out for when you're shooting it, okay?
Okay.
The same thing, comes all the way back.
Are we recording?
It's recording.
Okay.
All right. You will find that this particular gun is extremely accurate, considering how old it is. I can actually shoot better with this gun than I can with any of the other pistols that I have. This will shoot straighter. It looks like it was not giving us any problems, so I'm going to load in 5 rounds for you. I'll record it on your phone. Okay, so let me get your phone. I'm going to get on this side of you. Step over my cable. All right, so go ahead and grab the firearm.
All right, now this is a tree.
Make sure it's always pointing that way.
Yep.
Give it a good slap. Okay. You can pull it back slightly and let it go. Cool.
And I'm holding it correctly.
You are holding it correctly, yes. Lean forward, lean forward. Get in a good shooting stance. Spread your legs a little bit. There you go. 45's got quite a kick. Lean into it. So, tell me some of your thoughts, Marshall.
Well, it was fun. I had a good time. It was I could see why people enjoy shooting. Mm-hmm. It was loud. You can really smell that. I probably smell like gunpowder now.
In fact, we're gonna continue this in just a moment because we're about to hit a really bumpy patch of road. So, bear with us here. Well, that's good for our part 1 of our little podcast about guns. As you can see that Marshall seemed a little bit uneasy at the beginning, but like he said, he's really started to enjoy it and enjoy some of the aspects of it. And which is, I mean, honestly saying something, I'm not trying to have a discussion with nobody here where nobody can argue back or anything like that, but that's one of the things that I'm really big about, which is firearm training and teaching people, teaching your kids and teaching people who have never done that before, giving them the experience, teaching them the safety of it, and they learn the respect of the firearm, and they learn once you learn the respect of it, you don't fear it. You're not afraid of it. You're not, anything that you fear what you don't understand. And when you start to understand firearms, you no longer have a fear of them, but you have a healthy respect. You should never lose the respect for the firearm. So there is a discussion that we had on the car ride home, but it was a 45-minute ride home. So we had to break this podcast up into 2. So next week, Marshall's going to be joining me. We're both going to be here to intro, and we're going to see a little bit of the discussion that we had in the car, and then we're going to discuss this together to talk about just the things that come up in the discussion of firearms, and what are the limitations that should be put. Should there be any limitations? Should it be completely unlimited? Should it be completely banned? All those types of things we discuss. We're going to be discussing next week. Marshall will be in here with us, and we're going to be together discussing that. So join us next week. Kerncast.com, 5 p.m. We'll continue this discussion. Find us on A Valid Answer. You can email us at avalidanswer@gmail.com, and you can follow us, A Valid Answer and Kerncast, on Facebook. But until next time, this has been A Valid Answer. Thanks, guys.